Hit me.
From Studio A in Arcata, behind the redwood curtain, it's time for...
Succotash.
Succotash Clips, the original comedy soundcast featuring snippets from comedy...
Soundcasts.
And here's your host from up the coast, practically unknown outside of comedy soundcasting, comedy soundcast soundcaster, Tyson Saner.
Indeed, it is I, Tyson Saner, your host and Soundcast Sommelier for the evening, enticing your earbuds with a selection of fine Soundcast content and extending the invitation to taste just the tiniest amounts before making a decision on whether or not to listen to more of what these various creators have seen fit to upload and share with whomever makes the decision to listen to them. This episode, I've got clips from Bunny Ears, Popternative, Dead Jesters Sketch Comedy Podcast, Stone Science, How Did This Get Made, and Judge John Hodgman. We've also got a double dose of raging moderate Will Durst Burst of Durst segments, and another classic Henderson's Pants commercial. Of course, why wouldn't I put one on the show? I'd also like to point out that one of the ways you could be listening to us now is Spotify. Yes, we've added yet another place you can find us and potentially pass us along to someone else in need of a Soundcast experience who may not know where to start. Before we get started, there's a little bit of business I'd like to get out of the way really quickly. Hannibal Buress, whose Soundcast, Hannibal Buress Handsome Rambler, I clipped for episode 167, was kind enough to reach out on Twitter to thank us for the plug and to let us know that Hannibal Buress Handsome Rambler is not part of the Earwolf Network anymore. They are independent now, and you can find the show at hannibalburess.com/podcast. That's HANNIBALBURESS.com/PODCAST/. Thank you very much for the correct information. My apologies. All right, first up, here's a soundcast that was recommended to me by former host of the Evil Teddy Bear podcast, Corey Epps. I did an episode of the Evil Teddy Bear podcast a few years back, but I can't seem to find it online at this time. I'm happy to say that Corey Epps is launching a new podcast this year called The Corey Epps Show, and was very recently a guest on episode 49 of another soundcast I co-host with Hunter Block called Anti-Social Show. I've got news for you, he's likely to be on episode 50 as well. Anyway, our first soundcast tonight is called Bunny Ears. The hosts are Macaulay Culkin and Matt Cohen. The iTunes description reads, join Macaulay Culkin and his friend Matt Cohen for a weekly discussion of things and stuff and things, featuring special guests! ! All right, fair enough. This clip is from the first episode, posted on January 10th, 2018, appropriately titled, The First Episode of This Podcast.
We kind of have very common sensibilities, as it were, and we are friends IRL. And I, about a week ago, jokingly brought up the fact that we should do a podcast, and you were like, yeah, we should do that. Let's do it. And I didn't expect that. So here I am across the country from where I live, in Mac's secret bunker.
Yeah, and most of the things I do in my life, in my adult life, are brought up jokingly. So
yeah, so I took the initiative. This joke backfired on you, man.
Yeah,
you got a house guest and a podcast.
Yeah, oh gosh, now I got you on my couch and wearing my hovel.
What is your podcast experience? You listen to a lot of podcasts, right?
Not even like a ton. I've kind of like sometimes I've gone down that hole and like just certain kind of podcasts. I did. It was really funny. I was talking to my buddy Rory's. Yeah, my buddy Rory.
You mean your brother?
My brother Rory, but it was his buddy Joey and stuff like that. They were staying at my place, and they said, "Oh, you know Harmar Superstars podcast?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. Tell me about it." And they kind of went on about how much they love it and yada yada yada.
Is this before you had met Harmar?
No. This is.
Oh, they were just.
And so they said, "Oh, they got some really good guests." I go, "Have you ever listened to the very first and the very last episode?" And I go, "No, I don't think so." I go, "Yeah, that's me."
You're on it. You're on it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, but I let them kind of like gave them a lot of like time to just go on and on about how much they love this podcast.
So you are not a podcast virgin. You lied to me. You told me you were pure.
It was just that one or two times with Harmar Superstar. All right? But yeah, for the most part, I've not really done this kind of stuff before.
Let's think of what other. What is bunny ears? Because people are going to be like, "What is bunny ears?" So
they're
bunny ears?
They're the things we're wearing on our head.
Yeah, we are wearing bunny ears, and that's all the explanation you probably need.
It cuts a gorgeous silhouette.
So what is this podcast going to be, dude? Because, like, again, I think people might be surprised that you are doing a podcast because you are not notoriously I'm public with your thoughts.
Yeah. I live under a rock, I guess, publicly. Well,
it's a very nice rock, guys. If you should see it,
it's gorgeous.
It's plagioclase feldspar, which I believe is an igneous rock. I don't want to brag or anything, but
wow, look at you.
That's like the one word I remember from school.
I was going to say I'm more of an ornithologist.
No, yeah. Well, so, what's this podcast going to be? What are we going to talk about? What brought you into what was so important that you decided to break your decades of silence?
Absolutely nothing.
Good, like wrestling and like South Park and stuff, right?
Maybe it's the fact that it's doing something different. Maybe it's the whole idea that maybe it's not like I have something to get off my chest or anything like that. It's kind of like, let's do what we normally do, but just hold microphones.
Yeah, not even on stands. We're holding them.
I'm calling mine Mjolnir.
Old school. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I'm calling mine Louis C.K.
Woo.
Too soon. Maybe not too soon. No, it's coming out.
Topical.
All right, topical. And also, he asked me first, so apparently it's okay.
So it's okay.
Yeah,
it's the Charlie Sheen of microphones.
Like, I think it's this too. We are both definitely like children of a certain generation, and speaking to that, like in the last few years, there's been like a big thing online with not nostalgia as much, but like people talking about shit they're into, and that's something we both kind of voraciously consume, like whether it be wrestling commentaries or like video game review videos and.
We have the same sensibilities, we do all kinds of the same kind of like junk. And
sure,
stuff.
And this seemed like an opportunity to be able to do that, but just with our voices.
Yeah, pretty much an excuse to just to do this and and just record it. And
like we saw Thor the other night.
Yeah.
And we talked about it for like an hour afterwards, and then I realized, oh fuck, we just did a podcast about Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, exactly.
Except we forgot the equipment.
Right? Exactly. So it's kind of just like,
and it was worth it. If you guys only heard our Thor conversation, you would have been riveted.
Oh god, you would have been so riveted. Oh gosh, it would have been. Oh gosh,
my Korg impression. Is he like, hey man, I'm Korg. This is Meek. We're about to get on this big spaceship.
It's good.
I'm Korg. It takes me a minute to get in, and I've had a couple shots of whiskey, which I don't think Korg did when he recorded that film.
That's actually your New Zealand is there. It's there.
It's Korg got me in, man. For years it used to be like Weta. It was the E sound.
Yeah,
because
it's the I's and E's.
Yeah, that is how it's different from Australian.
It's always vowels and things like I can't really do an Australian or Kiwi accent for the most part because you always fall back into British. Same thing with South African.
If you'd like to hear more of Bunny Ears, you can go to Bunny Ears at Art19, which is ART, the numerals 1 and 9.com/shows/bunny-ears/. You can go to bunnyears.com, which is BUNNYEARS.com. It's also known as Macaulay Culkin's Gentle Internet Hug. You can reach out to Bunny Ears on Twitter at BunnyEarsPod. And you can reach out to hosts Macaulay Culkin and Matt Cohen at Incredible Culk and Camel Toad, respectively. That's INCREDIBLECULK and CAMELTOAD. Apparently they post every Wednesday. Coming in at number 2, Popternative by Peter Romoliotis, a.k.a. at PDBeats. That's PETEYBEATS on Twitter. This show is described on iTunes thusly. Popternative initially began as a podcast in September 2015. Hosted by Peter Romoliotis, guests from the sports, social media, and entertainment industry join the host each week and engaged in a digital dialogue about various issues and topics. Popternative's main quest has always been and remains to provide our viewers/listeners with behind-the-scenes digital discussions that they would otherwise have a hard time locating. This clip is from an interview with Mike Zapcic of Comic Book Men on AMC, posted on May 3rd, 2017.
What was the first comic you fell in love with?
First comic I ever fell in love with was Avengers 151. It was George Perez recapping the team's history, and it brought back Wonder Man, and it was just, they chose a new team, and it was, for, God, how old was I? I was like 7 or 8. It was like everything you could want in a comic book and more. You had guest stars, everybody in the Marvel universe, it seems, was like there. So, it was really cool.
Absolutely. And just get a little bit of history and context. You work at a comic book store that is owned by.
I work at exactly. I work at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, arguably the world's most famous comic book store right now. Right. Even people who don't know about comic books know about Kevin Smith. Kevin owns it. We got people coming in just to, come in and take pictures of. We have a bunch of Kevin's props from his movies. We've got the Buddy Christ from Dogma. We've got the actual screen-used movies, employee uniforms from Clerks 2. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. The Bluntmobile from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, man.
There's a whole bunch of stuff, right in the store.
And
we've got the Walrus from Tusk.
Oh. Anything from Red State?
Red State. No, really. There wasn't a whole lot of memorabilia from Red State, unless, AK-47, that's mine, but,
The ending of that movie, I'm not going to, spoil it for it, but that ending always makes me chuckle, just thinking about that ending, of how that whole thing happens. That was a good one. But yeah, before getting into the, specific questions, so you work at the comic books, you work at Silent Bob's Secret Stash. When did that start, and then how did the show come to be?
Let's see. I started working in 2000, so coming up on my 17th year, and I started off as a part-timer. Walt Flanagan, who's also one of the stars of AMC's Comic Book Men, and also been in most of, if not all, of Kevin's movies. He played 5 separate characters in Clerks. Yeah. If you remember the Eggman, the guy who was looking for the perfect dozen of eggs, that was Walt Flanagan.
Yes, okay.
So, yeah. And he was also the guy who asked for a pack of smokes. He was all over that movie. And so he ended up running Kevin's shop when Kevin bought it. So he needed some help on Saturdays. He wanted somebody there 2 days a month. And somehow I parlayed it into a full-time gig.
Well, that's great. And then now the big success with the show on AMC. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're pretty excited. Hoping for season 7.
Yeah, 6 seasons, eh? Do you think you've accomplished what you've wanted to accomplish in that? I just feel like the possibilities of what can happen on that show are endless in terms of what, who comes into the shop, what certain,
yeah.
It's almost like, you never want to end it.
No, yeah, right? You want to meet everybody that you wanted to meet when you were a kid, we met Lindsay Wagner last season. That was amazing. And another one of the stars of the show, Ming Chen, he and I have a podcast ourselves called I Sell Comics.
Yes.
That we do out of the back of the store. And we go to cons. We go to a lot of comic book conventions. We're on the opposite side of the table now. People want to meet and greet and whatever. And, we get to, rub elbows with people like Katrina Law and Nathan Fillion and, all these guys. It's oh, my God, we're, peak royalty. It's, meeting them and rubbing elbows us, these, not even celebrities, just, a couple of complete and total tools who, just stumbled our way into, the green room somehow.
And if you'd like to hear more Popternative, they are on Podbean, Stitcher, Player.fm, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Hey, we're on that too. And you can reach them at their website, popternative.com, popternative.com, and at popternative.libsyn.com. Same spelling of Popternative. Libsyn is libsyn.com. All right, it is time for our first Burst O' Durst for this episode. This one is from April 12th of 2018. It's entitled Stormy Warning, in which our intrepid correspondent acts out one of his boyhood dreams of working as a weatherman.
Hey guys, Will Durst here with a few choice words about the storm clouds gathering around Team Trump. The tempest is dark and swirly, like one of those nor'easters that has ravaged New England the last couple of months. A pattern of individual flurries have begun to take on bulk and velocity and threaten to enter blizzard territory. And since the only permanent member of Team Trump is the Donald himself, the squall is headed straight down Pennsylvania Avenue with the White House in its crosshairs. Former FBI Director James Comey's new book calls the occupant of the Oval Office not just a liar, but an orange, unethical, dangerous mob boss liar with tiny hands. The raid on the offices of Trump's longtime personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, which seized records and perhaps recordings, has staffers quivering like a shaved poodle taped to the foul pole of Wrigley Field during a night game in April. Bimbo eruptions are multiplying like thunderheads on the horizon, including one coincidentally named Stormy, raising questions about whether paying to kill a story might constitute illegal campaign contributions. And although his sentence was commuted by George W. Bush, Scooter Libby was never pardoned for his convictions of perjury, obstruction of justice, and lying to the FBI. So it seems that President Trump plans to change that situation, signaling to his buddies that he doesn't think those crimes are very important. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan seems to be not just ditching the ship, but also the pier and the entire harbor itself. And, don't forget, Mueller is coming. Mueller is coming. And it can't be very comforting that Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller looks a lot like the Night King from Game of Thrones. Donald Trump should be seeking a dragon right about now. For Succotash, the comedy Soundcast, I'm Will Durst.
Coming in at number 3, Dead Jesters Sketch Comedy Podcast by Dead Jesters Sketch Comedy Podcast. There's quite a lengthy description of this podcast on iTunes. It also has a lot of their information for how to reach them, which I will be giving you at the terminus of this clip. But the show description is as follows. Dead Jesters Sketch Comedy Podcast is a collection of hilarious and original skits brought to you by NYC stand-up comedians Joe Powell and Ryko Newton Block. I'm reading this verbatim. Each episode is filled with absurd characters, outrageous storylines, and hysterical parodies. This podcast has 5-star ratings across the board. We don't even know what 4-star looks like. Tune in to the Jesters and you're guaranteed to be laughing throughout. Enjoy! Yes, so it is a sketch comedy soundcast whose episodes are under usually a half hour long, so they're nice and bite-sized. There's 5 so far. They post fairly sporadically, but this one is very recent. This clip is from episode 5 of Beavers and Bransons from April 18th, 2018.
From the guys who brought you S-Town and Serial, This American Life presents an exclusive sneak peek at our newest investigative series, Beaver Ridge. When a beaver builds a dam built of 300 or 400 branches, the landscape around the dam is transformed. Beavers vary the type of dam they build according to the speed of the water. In slow-moving water, they build a straight dam. In fast-moving water, they build curved ones. These beavers and their dams transform rivers and streams into stunning ponds and lakes, thousands of which dot the United States. Anyway, I only learned about all this because a few months ago, a southern New Hampshire man named Earl O'Connor reached out to me, and he asked me to help him solve a murder.
I am telling you, they are killing beavers out here. Every single day there's a new dead beaver carcass, and they are murdering these beavers, and nobody is doing a damn thing about it.
From the people who brought you Serial, This American Life presents Beaver Ridge, Chapter 1, Sticks and Stones. Hi, I'm Thomas Jenkins, an investigative journalist for This American Life. The first time Earl and I spoke over the phone, he had a lot to tell me about his town.
Beaver Ridge used to be a great place to live. Everybody enjoyed living here. And the best part about Beaver Ridge was all the beavers. They used to run wild, make ponds and lakes, give us ice hockey rinks in the winter.
The town of Beaver Ridge, New Hampshire has always been known for 2 things: apple orchards and beavers. But the beaver population has drastically declined over the course of the past year. Earl told me his theory as to why this is happening.
I know exactly why this is happening. It's because the new town council wants to build a hydroelectric water plant at the end of the river. But to do it, they need to get rid of all the lakes and ponds that the beavers bestowed on us, that they gave to us. One of those ponds is my ice hockey rink in the winter. And they offered to buy it, but of course everybody said, no, yeah, you fucking idiot, let me give you an ice hockey rink, you moron. So everyone said no. And they assembled a Nazi SS extermination squad to cleanse this area of beavers. This is a genocide. This is a Rwanda of beavers.
Sure, Earl's a bit abrasive, but I still found him charming. Charismatic in a way. I looked into his story and decided it was worth investigating. But before I went to New Hampshire, I called local Beaver Ridge Police Chief Pete McMullen to see if he could confirm Earl's beaver theory. When we spoke, I learned a lot about Earl O'Connor.
Earl O'Connor's been a thorn in my ass for years. Every winter, he runs an illegal pond hockey camp on his property, and every year we have to shut him down because he has no insurance. Not to mention the acre or so of marijuana he keeps growing back there. And now, he's running around town freaking people out with conspiracy theories about electro plants and dead beavers. We investigated. There's no dead beavers, and there was never no plans for a damn electro plant.
The accusations made me question everything I'd come to know about Earl. But there was still one thing that didn't add up. Chief McMullen said there was never plans for a hydroelectric plant, but I had found its blueprints in the city archives. Earl was right. Something was going on. So I went to New Hampshire to get to the bottom of it. On my way to Earl's house, I stopped at a local Dunkin' Donuts.
Welcome to Dunkin's. What can I get ya?
I'll have a medium black iced coffee, please.
What's the name for the order?
My name is Thomas Jenkins. I'm an investigative journalist with This American Life.
You're an investigator? What are you, with one of those fake news outlets like CNN? You and your little faggy camera, get out of here, you knock. You're not welcome at Dunkin's, you're not welcome at Beaver Ridge. Fake news piece of shit.
After being thrown out of Dunkin' Donuts, I went to meet Earl at his house. When I got there, Earl took me for a walk through his property so I could see the carnage firsthand.
Look over here. You got one dead beaver there, you got two dead beavers there, and there's got to be at least a half dozen dead beavers over there in that pile.
What I saw shocked me. Why haven't you gone to the town council on this?
I can't go to the town council. I got the town already so far up my ass, I could feel the tax collector's nose pressing against my prostate.
If you like what you heard, you can go to Stitcher, Player FM, SoundCloud, or you can go to www.deadjesters.com to listen to the rest of their episodes. I listen to them on Podbay. You might be able to find them on Laughable, but I'm not sure. I didn't look this time. It's www.deadjesters.com. You can reach out to Joe Powell on Instagram at JoePowell89, on Twitter at JOSEFGPOWELL. You can reach Ryko Newton Block at Instagram, RYCORAMBLING, on Twitter at RYCONBLOCK, and on the web at RYCONB.com. You can follow Andrew Pellegrino on Instagram at AJPELLEGRINO. That looks like a capital O or a zero. Can't actually tell. Try both, because his Twitter is the same. AJPELLEGRIN, capital O or zero. Follow Ninehorn Band at NINEHORNBAND. And you can follow Alexander and the Grapes at THEGRAPES.
This portion of Succotash is brought to you by Henderson's, innovation in pantaloons and trousers since 1896. Almost 80 years ago, when Grandpa Al Henderson was struggling to raise a family during the Great Depression, he did what any unemployed family man would do. He shoplifted food. But he did it the right way and never got caught because he used his patented Henderson's Kleptomatic trousers, made with pride in the USA with not 4, not 5, but 11 expandable pockets that drape and shape naturally, while stylishly concealing fresh fruits and vegetables, eggs, even live poultry, and feed a family of 5 while never once alerting market vendors or law enforcement officials. Well, as they say, everything old is new again. And now, Henderson's is proud to offer Kleptomatic Plus, microchip equipped to neutralize barcode scanners, exit alarms, and other loss control detectors, so you can walk through any door with confidence. That's Henderson's Kleptomatic and Kleptomatic Plus trousers, helping you provide with confidence in every stride. And now, back to more of Succotash.
All right, coming in at 4, Stone Science. It's by comedians Kimberly Congdon and Sarah Weinschenk. So, the description on iTunes is, comedians Kimberly Congdon and Sarah Weinschenk sit down to explore the depths of science over cannabis selections. Laugh with them as they explore subjects ranging from sex to artificial intelligence in between joint hits. Subscribe, rate, and review. This clip is from their episode posted February 18th, 2018, called Lucid Dreaming.
I remember I had this really scary dream one time, and you know what I think?
What?
I think that it came from, like, one of the scariest movies I saw when I was, like, probably too young to watch scary movies was The Sixth Sense.
Oh, damn.
And do you remember, like, how right in the... people. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
It was scary as fuck, right? When it came out?
Haley Joel Osment. Yeah.
He killed that shit.
And then he did Pay It Forward, and everyone was like, Sixth Sense was better. What is this? Rebrand.
Rebrand. But I remember that first scene in the movie where he was sitting in the car with his mom and he looked out the window and it was just that girl with the helmet on bleeding. It was like the ghost of her, the girl that gotten hit. Like they were stuck in traffic because there was an accident and it was like her ghost, the girl who had just gotten killed. She was like some bicyclist in the city.
I don't remember the details of The Sixth Sense.
Oh, it was creepy. And I had a dream one time that I was passing a car accident and there was just like an old scary like demon like lady in black. Her teeth were like all triangles. She had like these black eyes and she was just sitting in a chair and all these people were like working on this car, like paramedics and stuff were trying to pull people out of this crumbled up car and she was just sitting there. And then when I was driving by, I was like in the backseat of the car and I was like looking at her like, what the fuck is that? She was like in all black, like a black silk shit. She had long black hair. She was like creepy as fuck. And then when we drove by, I was looking at her and she smiled and all her teeth were like sharp. And then I woke up and I'd never forgotten that. That was like when I was like probably like 8 or 9 and her face is still so like, I still remember her face so perfectly. If I could draw, I would draw it for you.
That's weird and
put it on your ceiling at night so you could experience it too.
That's fucking crazy. No, I don't want that on my ceiling at night so I can experience too, you sick fuck.
Okay.
What about, okay, there's like this controversy. I don't know what the full deal is on it, but there is this, there's this black little girl who had sleep apnea and she went in for a sleep apnea surgery. And she ended up in a coma. And she shouldn't have...
There's a what?
There was this little black girl that went in for a sleep apnea surgery in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that somehow the doctors fucked up. And basically, like, she ended up in a coma, right? Her name is...
Okay.
Jahay McMath. You look it up.
What's her name again?
Jahi McMath.
Jahi
McMath.
Jahi McMath?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's all
McMath?
Yeah, McMath. Like
if McDonald's served school subjects?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
McAlgebra. You get it.
Okay.
But so basically, like, there's all this controversy. I don't know the latest on it, and I only read half the article, if I'm being fully honest, but this is the deal. So she ended up in a coma, and then her family felt like she didn't get the care that a white patient would have gotten, because this was such a simple surgery, and they were, like, calling for doctor support, and nobody came, and all of this stuff happened. And then her family...
Because they're like, we have McMath on... we have a red McMath on floor 7, and people thought it was fucking snack time.
Dude. They're like,
I have no time to eat. I'm a doctor. If they're like floor 8.
That's so funny, dude. So fucked up. Okay. So there's all this controversy because her brain, can you look it up?
Oh, gladly. Jahi McMath.
No, because she was alive on life support for like a really long time, and there was all this controversy because her brain it wasn't black, and normally when they do a scan on someone who's dead, the brain looks black, but hers looked white, her brain. So her family wanted to keep her alive, and it was like this, they like fought to keep her alive, but she was the doctors were like, she's dead.
If you liked what you heard, you can reach out to them on Twitter at Stoned Science TV, StonedScienceTV. You can reach out to Kimberly Congdon at KIMBERLYCONGDON. And you can reach Sarah Weinschenk on Twitter at PRINCESSSHENK. That is 3 S's in a row. It's Princess Schenk. There's a video version of this podcast available to their Patreon subscribers, and you can go to their Patreon at www.patreon.com/Stoned Science TV. And again, that's StonedScience.TV. So if you Google Stoned Science, you'll also find links to the show on iTunes, Libsyn, and their Facebook page, on Stitcher, and I listen to them on the Laughable app. All right, coming into the number 5 position is a podcast is easily in my top 10 podcasts that I listen to personally on a regular basis, whenever I can. It's How Did This Get Made? From Earwolf, briefly on Wolf Pop, and back to Earwolf. Its hosts are Paul Scheer, June Diane Raphael, and Jason Mantzoukas. So the iTunes description is, have you ever seen a movie so bad that it's amazing? Paul Scheer, June Diane Raphael, and Jason Mantzoukas want to hear about it. We'll watch it with our funniest friends and report back to you with the results. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like good movies, if you like bad movies, if you like movies that are so bad they're good, and movies that are just crazy, not for everybody, but also really good in their own way, worth watching, then yeah, this is pretty much the kind of movie you'll hear talked about and joked about and picked apart on this Soundcast. So I've been a listener since the first episode dropped around, I believe, 2010. This clip is from episode 171, released September 15th, 2017, in which actors Chris Gere of You're the Worst joins Paul, June, and Jason to discuss the 1987 martial arts film Miami Connection. It was recorded live from Largo at the Coronet in Los Angeles.
I'm just going to dive straight into
please.
Jim's story of looking for his father.
Amazing.
An Oscar-winning performance
This
by
is
Jim.
a staggering monologue that I found to be hypnotic. I watched it many times. I found a clip of it on YouTube just so I could watch it only a bunch. It's phenomenal.
Jason, you want to take a crack at it, and then we can see how you stack up?
Let's see how we. I feel like we all have it. Let's give it a.
Share you with.
Let's give it a whirl. Oh boy. Okay.
Jin, do you have yours there?
I've got it.
All right, hold on.
So wait a second. YK Kim says, "Wait, I thought we were all orphans, right?"
Yes.
And then Jim goes, "That's my father."
He walks out of the scene. Yeah. Can we get a spotlight?
We should be the other three. And bearing in mind that the three in the background is the fine line between trying to cry and trying not to laugh. That's what they do.
My mother was Korean and my father was Black American. She gave me this picture when she was real sick. I was only 9 years old. They say that they loved each other and were real loyal. And real happy. But then when he finished military duty, he left. And we never saw him again. She told me to find him, but I didn't like him because he left us. But I knew one day when I grew up I'd find him, whether he was dead or alive. I sent a couple letters to the Defense Department. And nothing happened.
And scene.
And scene.
Oh my God.
Now,
that was a one-er, wasn't it? It was a one take.
It was, and I would like
Jim.
you guys to know that throughout the evening, each of us is going to take a shot at that monologue, and just so that we get a sense of how everybody.
That's my father.
Huh? Let's do this. JDR.
My mother was Korean, and my father was Black American. She gave me this picture when she was real sick. I was only 9 years old. They say that they loved each other and they were real loyal and real happy. But then when he finished military duty, never saw him again. She told me to find him, but I didn't like him because he left us. But I knew one day, when I grew up, I'd find him, whether he was dead or alive. Then I sent a couple letters to the Defense Department and nothing happened.
Wow. Oh, amazing. Wow. That was electric.
I can't follow that. I mean, that's good.
Does really deliver it, though.
Oh,
there's
It's
tears.
really-
He steps forward into a spotlight. In a
Well, by the
movie.
way, I'm going to say this. I think he just found his light. There are scenes in this movie where people are reading books in the complete dark. I feel like lighting in this movie was a mystery. Like the man who shot fire out of his hands and then never returned in the credits. In the credits of the movie, he shoots fire from his hands. We never see that again. Okay, I thought for sure at the end they'll shoot fire. We'll just take a taste of how Jim does it.
This looks like your brother. I didn't know you have a brother.
It's my father.
What? This is your real father?
Yes, it is.
Are you sure? I didn't know you had a father. I thought we are all orphans.
3 of them are not wearing shirts.
My mother was Korean. And my father was Black American. She gave me this picture when she was real sick. I was only 9 years old. They say that they loved each other and they were real loyal. We were real happy. But then when he finished military duty, he left. And we never saw him again. She told me to find him. But I didn't like him because he left us. But I knew one day when I grew up I'd find him. Whether he was dead or alive. I sent a couple letters to the Defense Department. Nothing happened.
I love how
can't beat the real thing.
Wow. YKK in the
The show archive is housed on Stitcher Premium, and you can also listen to some episodes on Podbay, SoundCloud, and Art19. You can tweet the show at HDTGM for How Did This Get Made. You can tweet Paul Scheer at PaulScheer, June Diane Rayfield at Miss June Diane, that's MSJUNEDIANE, and Jason Mantzoukas is not on Twitter. He says he isn't at any rate. I'll be honest, I've fallen behind in my listening a little bit. He may have joined Twitter in the interim. Now it's time for our second burst of Durst for the episode. This one's from April 19th of 2018. It's called Trump Zombies, in which our intrepid correspondent goes all Walking Dead on you.
Hey guys, Will Durst here with a few choice words about Donald Trump and his zombie followers. Trump. If Ronald Reagan was Teflon, the 45th president is a space-age polymer dipped in polyurethane and covered in weasel grease. They don't care. He's their leader. Doesn't matter what argument you try to use. Logic, reason, legality, math, science, history, physics, ethics, decency, gravity. He's their guy. They knew he was a philandering, lying, greedy cheater who stiffed contractors and sued everybody else when they voted for him. He was a New York City real estate developer, for crumb's sake. They are to choir boys what glass shards are to lace. The best example is while the Russia investigation about collusion is being hammered out in the background, the president gets hit with multiple accusations of using money to silence women who claim to have had affairs with him, and nobody cares. Trump. The focus is all on the lawyer who arranged the payoffs. Misdirection managed. Obstruction of justice? Who cares? They all do it. Did he kill anybody? Not did he have anybody killed. Did he personally kill anybody with his bare hands? And even if he did, so what? They all do it. Trump could push an old lady in a wheelchair down 3 flights of stairs, and his supporters would argue till they were blue in the face that he was giving her a series of chiropractic adjustments. If he wants to fire Robert Mueller, or keep firing assistant FBI directors until he finds one that will fire Robert Mueller, they'll still support him. And even though other Republicans say, oh, that would create a constitutional crisis, doesn't matter, because they'll support him too, as long as his zombies do. At this point, not even a stake through the heart would work. Of course, that presupposes the existence of a heart. Trump. For Succotash, the comedy Soundcast, I'm Will Durst.
If you'd like to reach out to Raging Moderate Will Durst, you can reach him at Twitter at WILLDURST. You can reach him on Facebook. He has a Will Durst fan page. And his email is durst.will@yahoo.com. And finally tonight, Judge John Hodgman by John Hodgman and Maximum Fun. In the iTunes description, it reads, John Hodgman's Today in the Past podcast is now the Judge John Hodgman podcast. Have your pressing issues decided by famous minor television personality John Hodgman, certified judge. If you'd like John Hodgman to solve your pressing issue, simply email it, along with your phone number, to hodgman@maximumfun.org. That is all. That was all in caps. And that is HODGMAN at MAXIMUMFUN.org. Jesse Thorne is the bailiff, and this episode is number 359. It's called Beyond a Reasonable Bout. It's released April 11th, 2018.
I first got involved with boxing about 8 to 10 years ago. Just like once a week training with a guy that said, hey, I wanted, I like teaching boxing. This is something that I do. He worked at like a troubled boys school teaching them, and I wasn't a troubled boy, but he'd have me and a friend.
But you were hanging around a lot?
Yeah. Someone we knew from other places, and he would bring my friend and I in to train, and so I just on a very light level been doing it. And then it would have been last year I started working at my current position, and we found ourselves in a financial position to where I could start going to like a legit boxing gym. And so I signed up, and after a month or so of training there, they approached me to see if I would like to participate in their next fight night. They do one every few months or so. And that was always something I wanted to do was get in a ring and see how I would do, just to see what would happen. And so, yeah, I started training and I won. Yeah, it was great.
All right. Now, you did a very good job following the dictum of specificity being the soul of narrative, in that you gave me a very clear and very specific timeline of how this happened. But as I talk to Marie now a little bit, I want you to take a little moment and try to reach some emotional specificity. In other words, I don't need to know the chronology so much as if I were to put you in the middle of the ring and say, tell me how you're feeling or I'll punch you, which is a weird form of therapy. And I apologize now for threatening you. I feel terrible. I feel like a terrible bully. But, when you say it's something I always wanted to do, I want you to challenge yourself to give me a little bit more about why it was something you always wanted to do and what you felt when you did it and how it felt when you did not. What's the opposite of losing? Oh, when you won. I don't know. When you won your boxing fight. So, Marie, when Brandon came to you and said, I've been training to box, did this come as a surprise to you? He wasn't keeping this a secret, right?
Well, he wasn't exactly forthcoming on everything.
Oh.
He told me that he wanted to join the gym that he was at, which just, that gym focuses on like circuit training and learning more about boxing, like combinations and things like that. And so when he joined the gym, he just told me that he just wanted to do it as a form of exercise and, a way to relieve stress in his life.
Uh-huh.
And then a couple months afterwards, he told me that they do these sparring nights.
But did you know that he was training to box at the gym when he told you that there was this sparring night happening?
I figured probably that's the direction it was going to go. I wasn't, I was kind of surprised that it was going to be just a few months later, though. I was thinking maybe he would train a lot more.
Uh-huh. So you knew that he was doing some boxing training, though. It's not like he was telling you, yeah, I'm over there on the elliptical all day long, and then I decided I'll use this now to punch a person.
Yeah, correct. I knew.
Okay, cool. And you said that you had a feeling that this was going on. Did it come as a surprise to you to learn that Brandon was interested in boxing?
No, like he's always had, like he said, this weird dream bucket list item to fulfill that he wanted to be in like a real sanctioned fight. And we had always talked about it that it would just be a one-time thing if that ever happened. Mm-hmm. Just, the one fight, you check it off your bucket list. Your weird, dream is fulfilled.
Well, whatever you do, don't condescend to his dreams.
It's a weird one, though.
Well, I mean, I think that it is not... Look, I mean, I would never go through the rigor and exhaustion of actually training to go in the ring because I'm lazy and it's hard. But I did enjoy spending one afternoon at the gym getting some basic film boxing training from an actual boxing trainer. And I did enjoy pretending to fight. It's exhilarating on a very visceral level. It's a weird dream, perhaps, because you are fantasizing about hurting and getting hurt, but not weird in that it is uncommon. It's not uncommon.
Right. And
even weird in an interesting way rather than in an uninteresting way. So, Brandon, I am going to strike all mention of weird from the record. And I'll ask you, madam, not to weirdify your husband's dreams while you're in my courtroom.
Sounds good.
If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, you can listen to more episodes of Judge John Hodgman on Stitcher, iTunes, and Podbay. Now, as I was writing the details down of this show, as I do for every episode of Succotash, the comedy Soundcast, I couldn't help but notice that for some reason, John Hodgman has blocked our Twitter account over at Succotash Show. That's at Succotash, capital SHOW. And I have to say, I have absolutely no idea why. I can only imagine that it was accidental. At any rate, if you'd like to contact John Hodgman on Twitter, you can at HODGMAN and Jesse Thorne at JESSETHORN. And of course, you can visit the show's website at www.maximumfun.org. That's MAXIMUMFUN.org. And with that, I've exhausted my current supply of Soundcast clips from all around the internet. Mostly I use Podbay and Laughable to listen, but I'd be very curious to know where you listen to us. And where you listen to us. I usually listen to Soundcasts when I'm doing manual labor of some sort. If my life included a long, near-daily commute, then that's where I would probably listen. Most of you listening by now should know that you don't have to stay in one place or be inactive while enjoying this or your favorite Soundcast. And if you didn't know, then you do now. I've got my first Succotash chats coming up for the next episode, and I've got to start editing that now. Of course, that's my now. I could be done with that part of the deal by the time you hear this. It could already be posted. Well, you understand how time works, don't you? It keeps moving forward for all of us until it doesn't. So if you've enjoyed yourself here, remember, you can now find us on Spotify for another place to enjoy us. If you'd like to help the show offset server costs, you can go to succotash.libsyn.com and click through the Amazon banner at the head of the page under our logo. Shop as you normally would, and a percentage of the money you spend goes to help us. And every little bit helps. So if you do enjoy this free entertainment and wish to hear it for years to come, I would gently remind you again to please pass the Succotash.
You've been listening to Succotash Clips, the comedy Soundcast with your host, Tyson Saner. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and... Imagine your company's name right here. Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on iTunes, on Stitcher Smart Radio, on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on Dunder, on Blitzen, on iHeartRadio, and on a Laughable app. You can hear us streaming and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Succotash Show. Email us at TysonSaner@succotashshow.com. Or call into the Succotash hotline at our toll-call number, 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy Soundcasts directly to us by using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/Succotash. Production of Succotash is overseen by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P. Sausalito. Hosted by Tyson Saner. Our executive producer is Mark Hershon. Our musical director is Scott Carvey. Our booth assistant is Kenny Durges. Until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the Succotash. Goodbye.